Well, good morning, everybody. And Adventures in the Homestead is here. Happy Friday morning on this beautiful day. It is a beautiful day in Wyoming. And it's a beautiful day in Arizona. I looked at the weather this morning for Wyoming, 72 degrees. Joe's just off. He's going to go wash the truck. And this morning, I thought we would talk about starting the gardens in Arizona, what we've been doing. And I'll wait till Joe backs up. I don't know if you can hear that, his truck going or not. Well, hi, Todd. How are you? Todd, Joe's not here. He just left to go wash his truck. And he's just been such a good helper in my gardens so far. We finished the 3 new raised beds. I thought I would get that video all done last night, but then it got dark and I wasn't done with my ending. And so I will finish that, not after this live, but I have a Master Gardener Zoom meeting. And we just meet 3 times a year. And I'm the president of the state of Wyoming for Master Gardeners. So I have to be on it. So that's why we are earlier than normal too. And so we finished those raised beds and we got them actually planted yesterday afternoon. This morning I put in my little birdhouses and my flowers that I made out of the fused glass that I had in my gardens up in Wyoming. Just to add, I guess, a little bit of fun to it. But the video will be up today, and they are by far the cheapest, durable, long-lasting raised beds I have ever made. Each raised bed costs less than $15. If I would have just bought the wood for the same size, it would have cost me, well, going with 2x6s, because here I can't even find 2x12s, and the raised beds are 12. It would have cost me just for the wood about $35, and I got the whole raised beds done for less than $15. So it was by far a great deal. And hello, Brian. How are ya? Brian is one of my members and a great channel on bees. You should check him out. Gulf Coast Scrapper. I am amazed at what you find and how much you get for it. He's always finding stuff, taking them, and basically he's recycling, because he's taking stuff that people would have just thrown into the dump, and he's taking it to recycling centers and making money on it, and I love it. Oh, you're back to driving now. Interesting. Looking forward to seeing them. That is a great price. It is an amazing price. And what I'm using is what you would call cement board, Wonderboard. And the reason why I'm using it is because it's what, if you were building a shower and you would attach the Wonderboard and then the tiles would attach onto it. So it's completely waterproof. It doesn't have any wood fiber or gypsum, anything like that in there. And so it will just last and last and last. Now, the other reason why I'm using them instead of wood, because up in Wyoming, I do have wood ones. Probably because I didn't think about this beforehand. But in Arizona, there are termites. So if wood is sitting, other than treated wood, is sitting on the ground and it gets any amount of moisture, the termites will come up and eat it. And so that's why people are really careful around their homes and their modulars with water, because if the termites aren't disturbed and there's not wood and water there, they just stay under the ground and they're not a problem. It's when you have to do, if you're sitting regular wood, people don't use regular wood for fencing, for anything really. Adrian, how are you? Thanks for stopping in so early this morning. I'm an hour earlier than normal. on my Friday morning things that I've been doing because I have a Zoom meeting with Master Gardeners. And so I appreciate it. And I found some good goodies today. Oh, I will have to look for that video. We salvaged a bunch of untreated large pallets, and we will be building raised beds with those. And I have made raised beds with pallets up in Wyoming before because, you know, you can get pallets everywhere. But in Arizona, I just can't do it. So that those cement boards, and I hope you find that interesting. And we used L brackets to hook the corners. So there's no wood anywhere. And so it'll be an interesting video that'll be up this afternoon. And in fact, I like them so much, I'm actually going to make 2 more so that we'll have 5 in that quadrant right there. And I could have them all planted already. And I did plant some potatoes and I didn't chit them, so I didn't let the eyes grow, so they will take longer in there. Ah, Sherry, how are you? Queen Creek, Arizona. I think I would like to find out all the people that are viewers and have channels in Arizona and do some kind of meetup. I think that would be pretty fun. Jason, how are you? I'm really excited about gardening this year in Arizona because we're here longer. You know, last year we didn't get down here it was after Thanksgiving before we got down here. And though I did have a good garden season, like I only got a few tomatoes because it was just not enough time. And I planted tomatoes yesterday. I planted, I think, 5 or 6 plants of tomatoes. So totally excited about that. And other things we're doing for the garden. The back garden, where we just had the garden last year behind our house. We laid down straw and a bunch of branches that we'd cut from the willows because along the property line of my house and my parents' house, there's willows that are not weeping willows, but they just drape down too. And they grow like crazy. In fact, when we pulled in our driveway, Joe had last year before we left, Joe had stood in the truck and cut them way up there above his head. And so it was really easy to just drive the truck in because the very first willow is really huge. And we used all those branches and we just set them in the garden last year. It's so that they could just dry, decompose, things like that. We pull in and some of them are all the way to the ground. So Joe went and he chopped up every branch that he could get just into little tiny pieces, you know, other than really skinny branches that are longer. But Adrian says I just woke up. Awesome. What time is it at your house? So this weekend, I'm going to, I don't have my little tiller here, and I'm kind of wondering if I should just go buy a tiller, you know, just one of those little like mantis ones, you know, probably not a mantis, but one like that. And just till that in, you know, the 4 inches down and then plant this weekend. So we're going to plant some pumpkins back there. We're going to plant just other vegetables and some flowers. And we're going to do our 3 towers. Brian says, I'm listening. Work meetings. That is awesome. Thanks, Brian. And so I'm going to do the towers, I think this afternoon. And I did a video last year and we just made 1 tower. And they're the 3 compartments and you just adjust them as it goes up the tower. Well, at the dollar store last year, that's where I had got those ones. Before we left, I bought every one that they had. And so I think I can make 3 more towers. And I'm going to put those over by our new raised beds. Todd says, what can I do to winterize my blackberry bushes? Todd, other than putting some straw around the base, I wouldn't do anything. They should be totally fine. I wouldn't trim them or anything until the springtime. And with my raspberries and my different bushes like that, other than putting straw down around them, just helps it a little bit if it's an extremely cold winter. But if it looks like it's not going to be a cold winter, I don't do anything. I have the straw from the year before, and I just don't do anything. Adrian says, I love willows. Me too. And Joe just couldn't believe it. Over on the other side of my parents, along their fence line, they have a bunch of willows, and they're all to the ground. And, Adrian says, it's 8:10. So you're the same time zone as me now, because Arizona doesn't ever change, so it's different. Jason says, for my blackberries and raspberries, I always bury the tips for new growth. Yeah, because you can propagate them. And so if you can get free plants, my view is always do that, because even if you don't want that new plant, you might be able to give it to somebody or sell it to somebody. And they're easily propagated. You just bend them over, put part of it in the soil, and it will root and it will grow another one. And so that's an easy way to get those. Now, I brought my kiln down. Doesn't have anything to do with gardening, but I brought my kiln down so for my other channel, I could still do stuff. And I did what they call frit and freeze. And so that's the video that's going to be up this afternoon on that channel. And I'm using what they call powder frit. So it is just basically like flour or sugar. I guess sugar more than flour. And you put them in silicone molds, put them in the freezer, and then when they're frozen, you pop them out and fire them in the kiln. So I pulled some of them out this morning, like little flower. I made some succulents, which I am actually going to make into necklaces. Look at these little paws. So this would be the necklace, and then there's 2 little ones for earrings. Is that fun or what? You could make them out like a million colors. I made some fish. I made some pansies. I wish I would have put more white in this pansy though, but that's okay. But you can make things that are really fragile. Like, look at this fern. Is that fun? So I'm going to use these in some projects, but I was just totally excited because they're way fun to do that fun frit and freeze. So that's going to be just a project that I'll do the video, but then in future weeks, I'll do projects using those in different things. And so that'll be fun. And a lot of times you can just find silicone molds with all kinds of stuff. Like the little bear mold or the paw mold. That's actually a resin mold. But anything that's flexible, silicone, that you can pop out when it's frozen, it works perfect. Now, I'm planting pumpkins this weekend. And so I saved seeds from my pumpkins up in Wyoming, and I'm going to make 4 hills, so 4 different kinds of pumpkins. And Joe says, why are you growing pumpkins? I said, you don't like pumpkin pie anymore? You don't like pumpkin bread anymore? And he goes, well, yeah, I do. So, yeah. Yeah, I was totally excited that we had enough room to bring the kiln, though it made it so I couldn't bring other things. Like I'm going to have to buy a sewing machine down here because I didn't bring my sewing machine, but I do have material down here that I didn't bring back up. So it's just choices. I seriously tried to talk Joe into pulling a trailer so I could bring more things. He wouldn't do it though. I don't know about that guy sometimes. Jason says, those look cool. I did an acrylic pour painting again today. I love acrylic pour paintings. I've made some huge ones. Like Gracie has one that I did in her dining room, and I think it is 4 feet by 6 feet. And then Angie has one that's 3 feet by 3 feet. And on hers, instead of just putting the wire across, so that you hung it one way, I hooked the wire on the corners, and so the wire goes all 4 ways, so she can turn it anytime she wants. Because acrylic pour painting, sometimes it doesn't look just good on one way. It can look good all kinds of ways. And so those are just totally fun to do. And I haven't done one of those for a while, but totally fun. And the possibilities are endless. So I will check out those. And Jason says, don't forget to fry some of those pumpkin blossoms. You know it. You always get way more male flowers than you do female flowers. Oh, my air conditioning is turning on. And so you always have ones that you can fry. It's perfect and tasty, totally tasty. Now, some of the other things that we're doing in the gardens. We had somebody, one of the neighbors, just check on our yard, because a lot of the yard is gravel because you're in Yuma, Arizona, and it's hot, and only a few people have big areas of grass, or they have areas where they're gardens. And so, but they didn't even hardly use any of my vinegar. I put vinegar in one of those pump sprays so that if there was weeds, they could just walk around and spray them in the middle of the day when it was hot and would just kill them. And they didn't even hardly have to do anything. And part of it would be gone from evaporation because of the heat. And it's like still half full. So they didn't hardly have to work because it was so hot here in Arizona this year. But we're going to add some areas of just flower gardens. And though I could plant perennials, I would have to have some kind of watering system through the summer. So either Joe would have to extend the pipes that water the fruit trees, or we're just going to do more perennials, or I'm not perennials, annuals, or perennials that I don't mind if they die, though I'm going to try to get some shade loving ones because I'm going to plant them under those willows. And then we're going to do gardens that are actually cactus gardens, cacti. And so once they're established this winter, they can survive with the few rainstorms that Yuma will get, their monsoon time. Oh, and look who's here. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Lynn is one of my very special favorite people. So I'm so happy that you're here. Sherry, we are in Yuma, so I don't think it's considered high desert. Flagstaff is more high desert, if I'm correct on that. And we're regular low desert. In the summertime, it can be 110, 115 degrees for weeks in Yuma, Arizona. Where Brainstorm Acres, they're up by Flagstaff, and I think they consider themselves high desert because they do still have a lot of cacti and stuff, but they have weather. They have huge storms in the summertime and snow in the wintertime, where we don't have that at all. Brandy and Charlie, how are you? And how is Charlie feeling? I continually am praying for him that he is better all the time. He was in the hospital, and I am hoping that he is better. Thank you. I'm off work today for World Mental Health Day. I didn't realize that was today. What about loofahs? Can you grow loofah sponges there? There are people that grow them, so I am going to try. They are on my list of vegetables to plant. Not that loofah. Well, you can actually eat a loofah when it is young and tender, but most people grow them for the sponges, and so I want to do that. Pretty good, sore. Went to physical therapy yesterday. I am glad you are feeling better. That is awesome. Awesome. Now, I'm not going to keep you very long today because I have that Zoom meeting for the Master Gardeners, and I have to have some things ready for that. But I didn't want to miss a Friday morning, so I wanted to just come on and say hi, tell you what was happening in the gardens. One other project. Next week, I start on the back bedroom. Now this is a 70s trailer, modular home, whatever you want to call it. Oh, Patty's here. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. And I am literally going to rip out the carpet. I'm going to take out the closet and put just a whole thing of shelving there. And we're going to put new flooring, paint the walls, and put some different lighting. Because everywhere through this house, except for the kitchen, I think the kitchen is the only place that has lighting from the ceiling. Every place else has these funky 70s lighting things. I'm taking all those down this year. I don't like them. But anyway, we're going to paint everything. And I love it when people are saying hi to everybody. I seriously do. I love it. Patty Bryan's in work meetings, but he's just listening, so I don't know if he can respond to you. And Tina Ladybug. There she is. How are you, Tina Ladybug? I love this icon that you have now with the Texas and the fish. That is very cool. Very cool. So anyway, in that back bedroom, I'm going to just make into a craft room. I really thought about just extending the living room, but my dad says, if you ever want to sell the place, you're better off having 2 bedrooms, blah, blah. So, so I'm not going to knock the wall down, which was my first idea of knocking this wall down just so the living room would be bigger. And that would mean that I can make the kitchen bigger. So I'm just starting on this end of the house, and I'm going to redo that room. Then it's the living room next. Then I'm going to do the kitchen. And you should see those old kitchen cabinets. Oh my gosh. It is craziness. Swimstead, how are ya? I hope your bees are doing good. I hope my bees survive with me being gone this winter. Next week in Wyoming, I think it's Wednesday, snow starts coming, which is really later than normal. A lot of times we have snow in Wyoming in September, lots and lots of times. The year before, I think it was 8 or 10 inches in September that we had, So it's been very nice September in Wyoming. But snow is coming now. But I'll bring you along with all the videos. Like the raised beds video will be up today, this afternoon. The towers, making the towers will be up this weekend probably, because I'm going to start working on those this afternoon. Then when we build the flower bed gardens and the cacti gardens. And I'm going to use some slate rock with that. And I have some really fun ideas. So I'm really excited about that. Says, yikes. So it's such an early word to use for us in Southwest Michigan. It's crazy. Snow, snow, snow. So we'll see how much snow there. I guess in the mountains in Wyoming, 20 inches plus it's supposed to have. So we'll see what the rest of Wyoming gets. And we are totally excited about adding all these flower beds. Now, last year I planted aloe veras, and they were beautiful plants. And while I was here, they were beautiful plants. But they didn't survive the heat. I didn't have water to them like the fruit trees. My blood red orange has 5 oranges on it. And my ponderosa lemon has 1 lemon on it. The grapefruit, no fruit, and the other lemon, no fruit, which I really didn't want fruit at all. But by the time we got here, they were bigger than baseballs. And so I don't want to pick them off. I was going to pick them off, and then I thought, I'm going to prop them up because they're young branches. So I'm just going to prop them up and so they don't break the branch. But I'm going to let you guys go. I know it's only been 25 minutes, but I have to be ready for that meeting in just a little while. So I appreciate it. Next week we will be here at the regular time of 10 o'clock on Friday morning. Oh, wait. I have to say hi to Jason. How are you? I see you have a new video up that I'm going to watch. Totally excited about that one. And Jason is one of my members and a longtime friend, and I appreciate you stopping in. But I'm going to let you guys all go. I appreciate it, and have a great weekend. Look forward to the raised bed video this afternoon. You will be amazed at how you can make raised beds for less than $15 a raised bed. It's craziness. And I will see you next time.